Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release, playing your very first experience with every single video game. Welcome everyone to August of 1982, where we're playing everything we couldn't find the definite release date for, and we're currently playing Miner 2049er. I can verify it is the best platformer so far of all the games we've seen thus far. And for our next game, we have something completely different. We're going to Japan. He looks so happy to see us, like it's the Japanese way of saying, "Oh, I didn't see you there." Sharp MZ. Ooh, it looks so fancy. There you go, a brand new computer from Japan. That's actually been around for a while, but this is the very first time we have a game for this computer that I didn't think we were going to be able to play at all. This is the Sharp MZ series of computers, and there is a lot of them. They've been around since 1978 in kit form, and you would have seen them called the 40K version or the 80K version. The MZ can refer to the microcomputer Z80 processor inside, but the real experience you're going to get with this is because this was from Japan and Europe, started in Japan and then later was in Europe, like United Kingdom and Germany. And then there's a lot of series of computers that the MZ's part of. We're going to lump them all together and have different ones. Like you can see in the bottom left corner, that's the Sharp MZ700 that we'll be playing on most of them. But for the quick history for this series of computers, it's been around since 1978, and they started with the series 40K and then 80K, and then they had the 700, the 800, the 1500, the 80B, which is the business model, and then they had the MZ 2000, which that series of computers started because of the Sharp X1, which is a totally different series of computers, which we're actually going to be seeing soon, before the end of the year in 1982. And then they had the Sharp MZ 2500, then the 3500, the 5500. We're going to be seeing all of these games, at least the ones we can get to work. But the first original one that you could buy was very similar to the Commodore PET. It was packaged with everything. You had the cassette tape, you had the monitor, you had everything all in one package. The only thing that's very bizarre and different than all the other computers we've seen so far is the Sharp MZ series of computers did not have a operating system or a programming language in ROM. It was like a fresh start or a fresh install. You had nothing there, which means a lot of third-party publishers ended up making their own version of BASIC. So if you want a computer in 1982 that you'd have to deal with AppleSoft BASIC or all that junk that they put on there, this one just comes totally clean, and you can do whatever you want with it. So the computer you see in the bottom left is what we're going to be working with mostly. And there is no defined character set that you can change on this computer. Compared to like the Commodore systems, you could take the character set and make your own characters and change things up for the graphics. Not here. It has its own built-in, and you can't do anything about it. So the computer for the Sharp MZ700 is the one we're going to be playing the most, and this one has a CPU of the Sharp LH0080 with the Zilog Z80A compatible processor running at 4 megahertz. Memory is 64K because 64K is what's in right now. For display, you got 8 different colors, and of course across all the different series of computers, there was a lot of different views that you could have. And then for sound, this one has a one channel 7-octave sound, and we're gonna be playing on cassette to play our Sharp system. And this is the very first game, which is Mole Attack, and we've already seen this one. The images I wanted to show off for this is the arcade flyer, because this is one of the first times people saw Mole Attack. So it's done again. Yeah, 4 megahertz, pretty good. Yeah, besides the arcade, though, when you play Mole Attack, we've already seen this one. On the Commodore Max machine, on the Commodore VIC-20, here's the point values. You want to hit the moles on the top of the head. Do not hit the butts. That's right, the moles stick their butts up sometimes. And this game is one of the few times when they wanted to change up the character set and use what's called the PCG cassette. Every time you wanted to do anything on the Sharp MZ, you had to take a cassette, like BASIC, put the cassette in, load BASIC first, then load the game you want after that on cassette. So for this game, you have to use this character set, or the PCG soft, and you can see it's done in-house by HAL Laboratory. They made their own character set, so the game looks like this. That's right. I hope it had a built-in footstool. That'd be pretty cool for the arcade cabinet. All right, so let's go to Japan and play our very first game on the Sharp MZ series of computers by HAL Laboratory at sometime in August 1982. Here's Mole Attack. All right, so this one should look familiar. It looks like all the other ones. I'm going to go ahead and hit P to start to play. This uses the keyboard only to command because you have to have all 9 different holes. There we go. Oh yeah, we're already in it. You can see how it looks pretty similar to what we played on the VIC-20 and the Max machine. It's the exact same idea, but it is HAL Laboratory that did this one. They put it on lots of computers, especially the ones in Japan. Yeah, this is working pretty well. It's the same idea. It's all the keyboard commands, even the same ones that we've seen from before. Nothing too fancy. It is one of the first times you could play a whack-a-mole game, but you know, do you really want to play whack-a-mole that bad? If you were in 1982, this would be the best way you could play whack-a-mole. I'm just mashing different ones. That's true. The color does look very similar to the Spectrum because they're still using the 8 colors, or same kind of 8 colors. But this is the PCG, which is the data set or the character set that HAL Laboratory made for, not for this game, but for their games to play on it. But you had to load that whole cassette and then load into the game. It's amazing. Okay. We're already done on that. So just for fun, let me show you what it looks like if you don't load the PCG into the system. Check this out. Now, be prepared. This may shock and scare you. Let me switch to this one. We'll reset. And let's load this up. Here we go. So if you didn't load the correct cassette and you wanted to use the default characters as part of the Sharp system, this is what it looks like. By the way, this is the attract mode. They did like the arcade. So it's playing the attract mode right now. Let me just go ahead and go into it, hitting P. There we go. And now we're in. There we go. Looks pretty ugly. You can see the characters are completely messed up. Not the way it's supposed to look. But just bear in mind, this isn't one of the only home computers to do this, where you had to load into something else before you could play the game. But But just imagine you have to wait 5 minutes for the PCG cassette to load, and then you got to wait for this game to load on cassette. Man, everyone had so much patience back then. That's disgusting. Okay, so no more of a mole attack. Of all the games you can play up to this point, it's kind of divisive because it is the best whack-a-mole game you could play, but I'd still say of all these games, considering we've already played this on the Commodore VIC-20 from 1981, and then the Commodore Max in June of 1982, and then we've also just seen the one on the Commodore 64, they're all about average. I'd say 3 stars for Mole Attack. It is the best whack-a-mole experience, and it is keyboard only because you got to have all 9 slots for it. Yeah, I see Ariel throwing out 2s out there. That means you'd be saying it's a bad game of all the games you could play. I wouldn't want to say bad. I still say it's average, and it's kind of hard to rate it because it's whack-a-mole. There's nothing else that's whack-a-mole out there. And with that, let's see, after leaving Japan, where we're going now. Time to go to the United Kingdom and go around the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This is Mongoose. Mongoose is a game that does not have any information for us. This is an example of a screenshot, but I wanted to show you this one because this is the character set that's supposed to load when you play Mongoose. However, I couldn't find anything online on how to get the game to load and look like this. So, if you're looking or watching the show, Tim, please let me know how we can get this done loading on tape. And with that, we also have a homemade manual. This is a snake trapped within the confines of an apple orchard. It varies frame to frame. You have to keep the snake moving and eat as many windfalls as possible to increase its length because its close tail on it is a mongoose, which is given half a chance and will bite a chunk out of the snake's tail. Thus, the game requires considerable concentration and dexterity to achieve a good score. And it shows you how to load mongoose here. And it says, may the apples be with you, but I don't think we're going to have apples. Let's pop in and play Mongoose by Tim Gilberts of Gilsoft International at sometime in August 1982. Yes, throw it off the net, but it's HAL Laboratory and it's whack-a-mole. All right, let's load it up. Nice, we got a little ditty when we start up. Gilsoft presents Mongoose. A snake trapped within the walls of the apple orchard, and close on its tail is a mongoose. If you keep the snake moving, the mongoose will be unable to eat any of it. The snake's length may be increased by eating one of the windfalls. There are 3 values given. The first is your score from previous, the second is the time remaining, and the third is your score on this frame. While it's negative, you're losing the game. The arrow keys will turn the snake's head. It's another snake variant. We've seen these from Nazcom's Lumberjack, which is pretty good, to one of the best ones we've seen so far, Snakebite on the Atari home computer, and Viper on the Apple II. Here is another one, and you can see the character set doesn't have apples. We are in control of the letter B, and the rest of our tail is the letter A. All of the apples, if they are apples, are represented by H's, so as long as I move around and continue to eat H's, then I'll keep going. I'd love to know how you can load this to get the character set correct, so I tried different loadouts and even did some research on how you get character sets on the ZX Spectrum to work correctly, but even whenever I had other people play this online, it didn't show anyone with the correct characters with apples. So if this is, I know this isn't how it's supposed to look. I have screenshots, but if there is a new way you're supposed to make this work, I'd love to know how to do it. Otherwise, this is a snake variant. It has an interesting objective where you're not being attacked by someone else. It's just something on your tail the whole time. The mongoose, who's eating pieces of you, and you just have to constantly eat apples and survive. I don't think, what happens if we try to, okay, we can't go into each other, into one another. When you play the game, though, I have to hold down the key on the keyboard to move. So, for example, if I don't hold anything, the snake just sits here. That's a strange control scheme. Most of the time, it just goes the direction you want. And bear in mind, I'm playing on the spongelet chiclet keyboard of the ZX Spectrum. And it's just using the numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8 to move around and pick everything up. And I think if we pick everything up, we clear the screen. But this game is, what you see here is what you get. Very simple. Oh yeah, we've already seen plenty of snake variants, and this isn't going to be the end of them. And Serpentine we have not seen yet. It's going to be close, though. If Serpentine should be coming up soon. Nice manly, I saw that one. Yeah, there are no apples. Making our way around. Oh, it drops more. So it looks like it just continues to go. And the mongoose speeds up until eventually you die. Like most video games in 1982, you just die a slow but inevitable death. Or you die a very fast death, as you've seen on Chronologically Gaming. It's got to be the same Tim Gilberts because he's left me a comment. When we played 3D Maze of Gold, he thanked me for reviewing his game. So hopefully, Tim, if you are watching, let me know if there's something I'm supposed to do different when I load this from tape to get the apples to show up. Maybe we'll play it again if the gameplay is even smoother or better than that one. There's also another Snake variant we played so far on MS-DOS called Hoser. It wasn't as good as Snake Bite or Viper, but this was also included later on a games tape called The Games Tape Compilation, part of Gilsoft. All right, that's good. We got the idea. So there's Mongoose. Of all the games you could play, it's actually not bad. It just doesn't perform high enough to be above average than all the games we've seen so far. It is a Snake game. It's done well enough. It has a gimmick that's slightly fresh, but not really pushing anything further than that. I say of all the computer games, it's a 2.5 star. I don't want to say bad, because it's not bad. You would have a good time with it. And with that, let's see what our next game is. Ariel's with me, 2.5 for Mongoose. Our next game is on the Commodore VIC-20 in the United States, where you've left the United Kingdom. And this is Mosquito Infestation. Another one that we don't have the box for. We do have the catalog by HES, Human Engineered Software. Ooh, your VIC-20 never had it so good. Let's pop in and play Mosquito Infestation. This one's by Tom Greiner of HESware at sometime in August 1982. Yeah, Curtis is going 2.5 as well. Oh, this one's fantastic. Look at that. Look at that opening. Commodore VIC-20. Most of the time when we play things on the Apple II, we get the same fade or same screen transition, but this is nice. For the Commodore VIC-20, this is rare to have something showing on the title screen. Nice job, Tom. That's awesome. All right, how do we go in this? Oh, just like that. It works right with the joystick. I just have to push the button and I'm in. All right. Let's see, we got bug spray on the left, blood pressure on the right. I'm in control of a raid can. Okay. Whoa, no way. Okay, so the raid can moves freely around the screen using the joystick, and you're just supposed to destroy the mosquitoes. Very, very interesting. This is another one of those games that, is it like Missile Command, or is it not like Missile Command? What a bizarre concept, though. We've already seen plenty of bug games. I was expecting if it's a bug game, it's going to be Centipede, but no. This is mosquitoes, but we are having to spray and kill them, leaving what appears to be kind of like the explosions in Missile Command, but you're doing this without a crosshair. Oh, he got on my arm. We can't let our blood pressure go up. I think this game is going to raise my blood pressure. This is so bizarre. It works well, though. Notice that we have some of the characters bleeding into one another. It feels like this game's pushing the Commodore VIC-20 too far. Yeah, for the VIC-20, aren't these graphics really great? And look at every single mosquito has animation. Oh, wait, my bug spray's gone. I got to get some more. Hold on. Go to the top. Game over. I got to watch that meter. When the bug spray goes down, go to the top and fill it up again. I really enjoy these computer games where when the game boots up, it just goes right into the game. So we didn't have to do anything. We just push the button on our controller and then go. First time we've ever had our blood sucked out by mosquitoes. For all the games we've seen so far. We've seen plenty of bug games, though. Yeah, this one's done pretty well. And it's a fresh idea because you're not doing the usual Missile Command. We've already seen a few games that are kind of like this. It's not a bare bones Missile Command variant, but this is so fascinating that these kinds of games existed. The other ones we've seen out there were Outworld on the Commodore VIC-20, and then Orbitron, which was in the arcade by Signatron USA. Oh, I'm running low. Let's see if we can get some before we... Oh, that one's going. Get him. Get off my arm. Oh, thanks for throwing out fun facts in the chat. These must all be female mosquitoes then. How much bug can I make a big... Okay, no, I was thinking if I could hold it down, I'd be able to make a giant spray circle, but no, it just wastes it. Let's get some more. I also don't get any penalty for touching the mosquitoes. It's just when the mosquitoes get on my arm. So the can of Raid doesn't do anything. By the way, this is not endorsed by Raid. I'm pretty sure that's a trademark. Again, I don't know if there's legality where people were going to sue them because they used raid in their game. Yes, we probably will die of malaria, that's for sure. Yeah, this plays great. It's like a extremely large crosshair. Works well enough on the Commodore VIC-20. Using the joystick. Oh, they're going nuts. I gotta get some more spray. Quick! Fill me up! It even shows little marks on my arm. I don't know if you can see the tiny little pixel. Nope, he's going for my hand. They show where the bugs have bit you. And they even show animation when they die, falling off the side. Get them. Yeah, this is going crazy now with the bugs. High score table is well defined. There you go. So a game that's not copying everything we've seen so far. And for a show like Chronologically Gaming, we're playing so much. Oh, I have no more bug spray. Uh-oh, not looking good. Quick, get down there. There we go. Just got a little bug spray. Oh, nope, gotta go back. Blood pressure's going down. I'm getting lightheaded. All right, we survived. Now can we get to the end? Look how many mosquito bites I have. Oh wow. Yeah, one of the most impressive parts of this game is how much is happening on screen. Look at how many mosquitoes are there. Wow. That's pretty cool. All right, there's Mosquito Infestation. Of all the games you can play on a home computer, it's all right. It's either average or it's either above average. It's around the 3 or 3.5 star range of everything you can play up to this point. Yeah, I'm thinking 3.5 as well. It's a fresh take, kind of similar to Missile Command, but really not like Missile Command. And doing the bug motif differently than what we've seen before. Yeah. Oh, of course, one-dimensional. Yeah, you're just going to shoot things, but you're shooting them differently because you're spraying them. Every other game we played so far that had spraying bugs was just like any other fixed shooter. You know, you move at the bottom of the screen or you move around the sides and shoot the bugs. There we go. Arrow's going 3 stars. Yeah, original concept. It has a little bit of polish. I'll say 3.5 stars of everything you could play so far on the home computer. Yeah. They spent some love into it. All right, with that, let's see what our next game is. We're going back to Japan on the home console, not the only one, but one of the home consoles that had interchangeable cartridges, the Epoch TV Cassette Vision. And this is new baseball. We've already seen baseball, which we couldn't play, but now we have new baseball. It's following the same format we've seen from before, which is, actually, this is the first time we get the box in full 3D. The Epoch TV Cassette Vision. New baseball is just a slightly updated version of baseball. The graphics are very similar, and there's just a few tweaks to the gameplay. You flip it over the back, it's a large box because inside is the cart for the Epoch Cassette Vision, and that is a massive cart because it has all the guts. It has all the transistor logic on it. It's not just the ROM because it does it backwards. The Epoch Cassette Vision does not have the system bring the games to it. It's the system is attached to the. It's just very bizarre concept. No other console that I know of did it that way. Very difficult to explain. So it's showing you how to play. It's a very easy affair because it's baseball, kind of bare bones. 1 and 2 players can play. Let's see the other artwork we have for new baseball. This is based on one of Epoch's original standalone systems. And you can see here, you're playing TV baseball as the original TV sports baseball. And then there we have the box. And then inside is all your instructions. There you go. At this point, I think they have the Epoch Junior as one of the hardware that you could be playing on. And it changes up how you use the dials because the Epoch Cassette Vision didn't have controllers that you held in your hand. You moved the system to you, kind of like the RCA Studio 2 that we saw back in the late 70s. So if you and your friends wanted to play, you huddled around the system and you dragged it to you and then pushed all the buttons. All right, so this one's showing you how to do all the dials, how to control the players, and how to play the game. And there's the example of the cartridge we're going to pop in our Cassette Vision. It's big. It has everything inside. And then flip it over on the back. as well as a leaflet if the whole thing's opened up. Very, very nice. Oh, here we go. A taste of what it's like to play in Japan. This is by Epoch at sometime in August 1982. Now, this is not going to be based on the games we played before because we're not able to actually play this. What I'm showing is footage of the game being played. This is a game that has no, this is a system that has no microprocessor. So when you play on the Epoch Cassette Vision, you have to have the full hardware. There's only a few simulations, but no one's wanted to simulate new baseball to play. I highly recommend Jeremy Parrish's video on this, as well as R&D Stranger. They did some highlights of the game being played and how it works. Now, from my understanding, while you don't have controllers, you and your friend are bringing the whole system to you and you use the knobs and dials. You have options for how your pitches are going to go, and then you're controlling the outfielders, but it automatically lets the other players in the field toss the ball around. So as soon as it goes to second base, for example, it's going to throw it back to first automatically. So it's a very, very fast game. Oh yeah, this system is very, very rare and very hard to come by. Most of the time when you talk about Japanese home consoles, you talk about what's going to happen next year in 1982 rather than now. So we're in the dark ages of how it works. So there you go. That is New Baseball. Another title that we're not able to really play ourselves because of the hardware. It's transistor to transistor logic. There isn't any of a CPU in there. But as far as the baseball games we played, this one's brisk. This one plays faster and feels a little bit better than the original baseball you could play on the Epoch. But there is better baseball games of all the home consoles so far. I mean, we're talking Intellivision, we're talking Atari. All the ones that we've seen so far, there is better baseball. I wouldn't call this a bad experience, though, because it's a fast-paced one. It's fun. So I'm going to say 2.5 stars of all the games you could play on a home console. For a quick baseball game, let's play New Baseball. And with that, let's see where we're going now. We're back on the Commodore VIC-20, and this is Number Nabber and Shape Grabber. Let's take a look at the box. For Number Nabber and Shape Grabber, this one is an educational title that I was going to breeze by as, you know, it's early childhood. Let's not bother with it. But it has something to play. It actually has gameplay. You got to check this out. It's a learning game. One convenient cartridge, it's 2 games in one. Once the children grab hold of these games, they'll play them for years. Number Nabber builds arithmetic skills, and Shape Grabber develops the young child's ability to identify a variety of shapes. Both games come with music and sound effects. Fantastic. There's the cartridge we're going to pop in, our VIC-20 to play. And we're going to see this one later on the Commodore VIC-20. Don't know if we'll be showcasing it as long, but it does exist. So if this looks familiar, you probably played it on the Commodore 64. Here's the manual for Number Nabber and Shape Grabber. Shows us how to load the game, adjusting the screen position, and eliminating that screen flutter, which is apparently a thing on the Commodore VIC-20. Number Nabber and Shape Grabber are 2 different games in the same cartridge. You both control a chomper that digs his way through tunnels, trying to gulp up either numbers or shapes, depending on the game, that are floating through the tunnels, trying to avoid your chomper. There's also a mad gobbler running around underground who changes color from white to yellow. When he's white, you can chase him and chomp him, but watch out when he's yellow, because he can eat you. And you're supposed to number nab the numbers and make an equation happen on the top of the screen. That's a good point. We've seen Spinnaker already. Super Troops has been a pretty cool one. And there's going to be more. Face Maker that's coming up. Yeah, this one is not by them. This one's just straight by Commodore doing something educational. It shows you the controls, but you can use the joystick to play too, how to start the game, and it even gives you some hints. Keep the numbers, symbols, and shapes in their own little tunnel area as long as possible. And the other ones just have an alternate version of the cartridge. Let's pop in Number Nabber and Shape Grabber at sometime in August 1982. The reason I wanted to show this is an educational title that is doing something more arcadey than just educational. So check this out. And right off the bat, just like on the other one, the Commodore VIC-20, I just had to push the button on the joystick and I'm in. You can play Number Nabber or Shape Grabber. It's kind of the same idea. I'll do a level 1 game, and then we're in. Look at this. It is an educational Dig Dug game. And bear in mind, the official Dig Dug we haven't seen on home computers yet. So it is Commodore ripping off Dig Dug, or the idea of Dig Dug. And you go around and pick up the letters. And you can see I stick out a tongue instead of a hose to hose up the enemies. No way. So you can see at the top, I'm supposed to take the number 1 that I got and add up an equation. So 1 equals 9. I need an 8, so let's go find that 8 over here. I don't know if I can nav the 8, actually. Will it let me grab it? There we go, come here. There we go. Got the 8, now I just need 1 plus. Let's go find that plus symbol, there it is. Got it. And, wait. Did I put it in the wrong order? 1 plus 8 does equal 9. I don't know why it's not done yet. Oh, there he is, the enemy. So if he's yellow, you have to run away from him like other enemies, but we're playing Dig Dug. We're essentially Dig Dug before anyone else could play the official Dig Dug on their home computer. Very rare to have this kind of digger available, and here it is on an educational title. I've just dug tons of holes all the way around, but that's kind of one of the fun parts of playing Dig Dug, is you're creating a maze, a top-down maze, kind of like Pac-Man. Yeah, it's kind of a really cool idea for an educational title. Can I take him out? I gotta finish this one. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I'm failing at a children's educational game. I just wanted to show that you can dig around, and that if you do the other game, it's the exact same concept, but instead of numbers, you're digging out shapes instead of that. So there you go, that's Number Nabber and Shape Grabber. Of all the games you could play on a home computer, I actually say it's all right. I'm going to say 3 stars of everything you can play up to this point. That's pretty good. And honestly, the only reason I'm not rating it higher than that is because of the educational side of it. That you have to work around the constraints of doing math or finding shapes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it has to be in the correct order, too. And I didn't read the manual in its entirety, which I'm sure most kids did, too. Oh, educational? Yeah, just pop it in and play it. Arrow's going 3. Yeah, 3. So, cool that it exists. That we have Number Nabber and Shape Grabber. Possibly going to see this one later on the Commodore 64. Let's see what our next game is. Time to go back to the United Kingdom and play on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This is Orb. Orb is another one that only has, the title is 3 letters. This one gets lumped into so many different things. All we have for this is a few screenshots, and that's it. I have, yeah, alternate versions. Let's pop in Orb on our ZX Spectrum and play. This is by Ian Richards of Impact Software. At sometime in August 1982. I still feel the... Oh, wait. Not sometime in August. August 6th, 1982. Oh, I gotta change it. So the games that people don't have, I guess if we're gonna believe the date that's on there, it could have been developed August 6th, 1982. All right, let's check it out. This is a text adventure game. This one is a randomly generated text adventure game, which means even though you have a walkthrough, the walkthrough just gives you some hints, but there's really no way to have an exact way to play. All right, we're ready to play. Setting up the rooms. You can see it's randomizing it now for us. Kind of hard to find. Whenever I went to other sites on the ZX Spectrum, they didn't have any other box or artwork. And we have proof it exists because I'm playing it, but other than that, I don't know. I didn't get anything else. You're in the cave, which is the entrance to this underground complex. Good luck. So this is the way it begins, and then you work your way around the maze. The top left is kind of like the key to play the game. It's not possible to give you a walkthrough because the map is always the same, but the objects are all placed randomly. Some objects are needed to avoid instant death when you're into a number of locations marked in red. And some objects you don't even need to use, but you have to work your way around. Okay, so let's go ahead and go south. You can see we're at a cross intersection now. We're wandering along a passage. There's an oil can here, and I think we can't say get. I think we have to say pick. Let's see if it works with the hyphen. Pick oil can? I did. Okay, pick oil can up works. If you try get, it won't work. All right, let's keep going south. Start drawing your maps now. You've wandered into the lair of a werewolf. It's a good thing you were not here just now. Wait, it's a good thing for you that... Oh, he's not here right now. So we're in the werewolf's lair. Okay, let's... Oh, I did it again. I said get sword. Yeah, get does not work. How weird is that? We'll pick the sword then. All right, what next? Let's keep going south. Wandering along a passage. Now, the items here really don't give it the feel of a role-playing game because you're just going to use them one time, like items or inventory that you have in other adventure games. All right, so I like the key in the top left. Reminds me of a few other games we've text adventure games that give you a map, but you still would have to draw your own if you were playing this. Okay, so let's go ahead and go south again. We're now at the western lair of a giant spider. It's giving you a paralyzing bite. You're now in his larder, waiting to be eaten. Oh, is that it? That's it. The game's done. We've died that fast. There was no quick time events. It was literally just, we just walked in the wrong spot. Oh man, the randomness. Yeah, get your graph paper out and die anyway. So that's Orb. The concept is something we've seen before in text adventure games, showing you the key to allow you to play, but it is very random. It is brutally difficult. Of all the games you can play on home computers, I can understand why this one was missed and not played or given a lot of love. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a bad game. I'll say 2 stars, but yeah, it's like 1.5, 2 stars. If you think of everything you play up to this point, it's bad. Yeah, 2 stars, 1.5 for the stupid death. Well, we had a stupid death, but it also depends on what items you get, because while the maze is pretty much the same, all the rooms and the items are randomized. And it hails back to the games we played that you go in room by room and they give you like puzzle-like elements to it. But this one has really no puzzles. It's just random events are going to happen. Yeah, we see 1.5 for stupid deaths. 2, yeah, it's... Yeah, that's true. Random is good in lots of instances, but this one, I would say not so much. Now I know why no one wanted to show the artwork for this box. Let's see what our next game is. We're back on the Apple II. This is Outworld. Outworld we've already seen, but we haven't seen this one. We've seen Outworld on the VIC-20, and it's also available on... Oh, by the way, let me go back to this one. Orb is available on other systems. Believe it or not, it's available on the VIC-20, and it's available on the Dragon. But I couldn't find them anywhere. The only one I could find is here on the ZX Spectrum, and now I know why. Possibly because most people didn't save those versions of the game, or they're just not as popular. So there you go. Now let's go to Outworld. Outworld was one we saw already on the Commodore VIC-20. And because of Punk Rock Biker, we can play Outworld for the Apple II. This is one that doesn't have a box, just a few screenshots. Let's pop in and play Outworld by Thomas A. Giguere of Tensor Technology at sometime in August 1982. We had to see more cracked games. It's like the history of cracked home computer games, too. Here on Chronologically Gaming. There we go. Not entirely sure how to pronounce his last name. Giguere? Way to go, Thomas. So we got an arcade-style game. They're giving us an attract mode, showing us the point values, and then refilling the ship. If you remember, Outworld we played on the Commodore VIC-20 plays like Missile Command, almost. It has the cursor that moves around. This one plays totally different than that. Oh, nice. We have a large ship coming down for us, and we can play keyboard or joystick. Let's try joystick. We got it plugged in. Let's go. It's going to give us refueling. It looks very similar to the Outworld we played before. There is no Sean Connery here, by the way, if you're a fan of the movie. Totally different game. Whoa. Oh, this is very different. Wait a second. I am pushing the button on the joystick. Oh, and there's my shield. Nice, okay. So I got 2 buttons. I have a button to release a missile, and I have a button to have a shield go across the bottom. Very interesting. Why? These are 2 different games, at least the gameplay. It still looks the part. It kind of looks like Atlantis on the Atari VCS. But it's not taking place there. We're somewhere in space. We are controlling the missile. So in a way, it's not the same shooter you'd think. It's not like a Missile Command shooter at all. In fact, there's very few shooters that do this where you can take control of the rocket. It reminds me of Cytron Masters that we played. It's a real-time strategy game that lets you take control of a rocket like this. And I blew that one. Let's see if we can take this guy out. Oh, you can't hit the center. You gotta hit the outside. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Very cool concept. So controlling a missile and driving it, or at least this mini, is different. It's not just your normal shooter that you play. Now we have moving targets. Wow, yeah, it takes a while to get used to because it's a fresh idea. At least I can take out the UFOs. And you see, every time that they come down, they destroy just a little smidge of your shields. And they break them away until they finally get to the city and start tearing down the city. See if we can get... Oh, yes! So cool! And it's going to speed us up going faster and faster. Yeah, this would be a very fun arcade game to play on your home computer. Apple II's got some cool ones. Yeah, we have the different enemy types. Look at this. Smaller. Nice, took him out. And we got to take care of the bombers now. I can control. Got it. Nice. Let's see if we can get this one. Nope. Got to take these out. Let's say avoid the missiles coming down and just go straight for the bombers. You see they're destroying the side there. I gotta use... Oh, the aliens are so cool! They burrowed down deep, and check out the explosion. Love it. Okay, already getting 3.5 stars from Curtis in the chat. Yeah, definitely above average game. We gave the one on Vic-20 4 stars. I'm thinking about the same. Even though this control's different, it's... changing the gameplay. Like whenever you shoot the missile, you're getting different enemy types. There they are. Look, we got 4, 5, and then we have the creatures that come down on the screen too. Should have been using my defenses, but forgot about it. No, it is not weird. I think someone in the chat mentioned it as the Apple II fart sound. The little clicks and beeps of the Apple II sound. There we go. And you can't turn the missile down, so like if I miss the shot... Looking good so far. So I can't just keep weaving in and out. It's going to keep going up to the top of the screen. But that limitation works very well in its favor. It makes you want to get better at it because this is such a new idea. That's it, yes. Thanks, Victor. What most people think of on the Apple II. Shouldn't have adjusted it. And I like the idea that the aliens come down onto the planet to take you out. Can we go for him now? Oh yeah, it doesn't do anything. You just have to hit the sides. So cool. They did a lot on the Vic-20 and to make it fun to play, adding the different enemy types. That one felt more like you were playing Missile Command with the cursor that moves around. Awesome. There's technically not a sound chip on the Apple II. We're beyond the realm of sound cards and sound chips. Yeah, I agree with you, Errol. I want to keep playing to see all the enemy types. One of the big reasons to continue playing games now, and especially on the home computer, where experimentation is all over the place. Nope. This doesn't look good. No. And see, if I go, yep, if I go to the end, and they're going to miss this one, right? Yep. There they go. Whoa, and they land, you just die. You don't even get a chance to use your other defenses. That's right. 1-bit sound is the best way to describe it. So there you go. That's Outworld for the Apple II. I can't really decide which one I like better. Between the VIC-20 Outworld and this Outworld, they're really fun. Of all the games you could play on a home computer, I'm actually going to go a little bit higher and say 4 stars for Outworld. Just like I did on the VIC-20. Both are excellent games. Need to play them, but they're not up there in like the realm of the best home computer games of everything you could play up to this point. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. We're still hanging out on the Apple II, and this is Peeping Tom. Not what you think. So slow down a little bit. Peeping Tom is something we saw already in magazines that are coming up. This is by Microlab. Yeah, even from the front of the box. Are they just trying to make the perverts buy the game? Because this has nothing to do with being a Peeping Tom, even though this is the front of the box. And then the back of the box is just a brick wall. Oh, that's true. The Mockingboard is a good point. Yeah. In fact, I think that's what we're playing on now on the Apple II. And that's all we have. Just the box. But it still doesn't change my argument. Let's pop in Peeping Tom by Michael S. Livesay at some point in August 1982. And another cracked screen. We might as well be doing the history of cracked games, too. Microlab. That's using the Apple II sound. It's very well done. It's not the best song we've heard on the Apple II, but it's very well noted. All right, so let's go ahead and hit any key to start. Can we use controller? Let's see if the Apple II joystick works for us. And what the sound's like. Okay, yeah, it does work. We're in the game, and here's the idea. I'm at the bottom of the screen. It's just like the other fixed shooters we played. There it is again. That is the most farty sound of the Apple II I think we've heard so far. But the way the game works is you can't see behind the blinds, and the shooting, the enemies that you shoot, if you shoot them, if they're behind one of the blinds, it reveals the blind. It opens it up so you can see. It's a very strange concept. It's like saying, let's take a shooter like Alexian and make it so you can't see anything until you hit one of the enemies behind the screens. And then they close all the blinds, and then you go to the next level. So you see, they start with one blind, but if we hit one of the ships behind the blind, then it reveals, and we can see something next. So I got to hit an enemy up at the top right if I want to be able to reveal that one. I can't tell. It actually feels like the enemies are following me. It's not random. And then whenever you shoot them all down or you die enough times, it moves on the next screen. I can confidently say, of all the games we've seen, we have never seen this concept. Let's take a shooter, blind you or block part of the screen, and only let you see a certain part of the screen if you meet an objective. That's right. It's like a Japanese screen door, right? And it does work with the joystick. But who is this for? Who wanted to have their shooter where they couldn't see anything? Oh, I got lucky that time. And so we got one more hit. This really reminds me of the game called Sneakers we've seen, and a few other fixed shooters on the home computer. We're going to see it on consoles later, where it's just random objects or different enemy types with movements coming around. It feels like this could have been programmed on the arcade machine, which we've already seen on the Apple II, where you make your own shooter. Maybe this was... I need to look that up, of how many games were commercially put out using the arcade machine on the Apple II. All right, we're getting really lucky. I just got to move in the right spot. Yeah, better than average music for the Apple II, definitely. But for all the other home computers, no. We got the Commodore 64, that's brand new. They really haven't had any good music, but best music still is the Atari home computer. Yeah, we're getting a ditty every single time. Notice how the screen pauses, because it cannot compute anything else while that's happening. We have to have music only. Stop the presses. I guess I'm getting lucky. That's working really well. Now I got overconfident. Yep, they're coming straight down at me, so I got to block to the side. And they're covered up on the other end, too. Yeah, it is very difficult. Of all the shooters we played difficult shooters, but this one just, it feels unfair. Like, why? Why would you want to block the screen off and consider that a new feature or a new gameplay concept? Because you'd have to be memorizing the enemy patterns and know the enemy's going to be coming behind a blind when to shoot it. See right there, got completely lucky. And these are the kind of enemies that are pausing to shoot. I also have limited firepower. I only can shoot one shot at a time. Yes, use the Force, Luke. I'd rather use the Force in Empire Strikes Back on the Atari VCS than play this one. But I still am... Oh, I'm already dying too fast. Slow down. I am interested to see what is the next enemy that's going to come up. That's what's kind of fun about it. Missed it. Let's see. Just got to get one more. There we go. And it shows you at the top how many aliens are left. So what we got at the top? We got ships left. Wow. Yep. And then we have aliens, which is AL. How many of those are left? S and L, I'm not sure about that one. This is a game that we kind of have to figure out ourselves because we don't have the manual, we don't have a lot of the box or information. If the game hasn't been dumped or didn't get a lot of love, then what you see here is what you get. How it controls is typical for the Apple II. It's using paddle controls because we just have to go left and right. So you just use your paddle, slide it left and right. Yeah, the variety of the gameplay is nice too. I'd say of all the games we've seen so far on home computers, it's about, 3 or 3.5. I'm with Curtis on that. I did not use the Force. But it's fun. Not as fun as something some of the big hitters for this year. It's not like Peeping Tom is like jumping out at us as one of the best ones so far. Yeah, 3 or 3.5 also from Errol. Scruffy Look is going 3. I'd say because we played games like this that we scored about 3.5 stars, I don't really enjoy the concept of blocking the screen. So I'm going to say 3 stars for Peeping Tom. Of all the games you can play on all the home computers right now, there is better ones out there. All right, and with that, I have to sadly end the show a little bit early because we got a big, really exciting one for next episode. Tune in for the new way to shoot that we've never seen before. That's it for today, and like I always say, shoot first and never ask questions. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.